Well, hello, and welcome to sort of part 2. So, I've added into more stuff, It's gotten to the point where I need to talk about it. So, I'm gonna sort of describe what I've been doing since the last time you saw it. You saw last time, the basic cave. Not a lot in it, there was just a door, there was nothing else to it. But now you can kind of see that I've done some improvements, I've kind of made it look a bit more cave-like. The door's still there. This is now a lift. Essentially, it works the same way as a door. It uses a manatee actor, except the manatee actor, obviously this time, instead of going, instead of rotating it, it just goes down. So that's basically just the same code. It's just moving it differently. I was sure I textured this, but apparently not. But these are my zombies at the moment. These have some code to them, which I'll get around to in a minute. But as you can see, this is the third room. More cave-like. It's going to be pretty dark. There's only one light in it at the moment. But obviously, I'll have... For now, the lighting hasn't been built properly, so I'm just keeping it like that. This still needs a little bit of work, but, you get around to it when you get around to it. One of the other important changes that's been added in is that I've now added in a pause menu. So if I click play here, then I press P, you see that I get a nice little thing. For some reason you have to click on it. Don't know why. Just has to do it. I can't remember if I've talked about this last time. Might have done, might not, but it's best to talk about it. So now I can change the resolution when I want, to how big I want. Return to main menu. There's a quit button. Not going to press that for obvious reasons. And yeah, so that's a basic pause menu. Got a little, got a water feature now. So let's start off with talking about some of the code that I've inputted in. So the first thing that you may have noticed was that there was some numbers running down the side. That's the player's health. So if I go into his blueprint now, I can show you the code and sort of describe what's going on. So let's open this up. So this is the code for checking the HP at the moment. So let's start off at the front. So there's a variable called player HP. At the minute it's set to 1. Now the only reason for that is because it's a float, and I was told that it can only go from 0 to 1. So, so whilst I was watching the tour, I was like, yeah, okay. This print string thing is just so that I can see the health at the moment. I'll eventually add in a HUD with a little progress bar so that everything works out. So basically what it's saying is that when this player HP is less than 0, then check if that's true. If it is less than 0, destroy the actor. And then once the actor is destroyed, reopen the level. So basically, if the player dies, the level is going to restart where I put the character. So that's all the code for the player at the moment. That's just checking the SP and then killing him. Most of the code is on the zombie AI. So if I go into wherever I put it, here we go. So if I open up, this is the AI blueprint. So, I didn't comment some of this stuff, which is rather stupid. So, as you can see, it's got this on-sea pawn sensing thing here. Now, on-sea pawn sensing is basically the view of what the character can see. So if I also open up that to show you as well, got to prove these things. Got to prove I know what I'm talking about. So if I open this guy up, as you can, well, not open him up, but you can see this little green box around him. That's basically how far he can see. So basically, once the player comes into contact with here, the AI can see him. Now at the moment the AI is unable to move because I've taken out the nav mesh at the moment, which allows the AI to move around within that certain area. It's so that they understand, if things go up, if they go down, if there's a wall in the way. Basically the game engine does everything for you. It works out its path itself, so you don't need any complex code to say avoid the wall and stuff like that. That's what the pawn sensing is all about. It detects where the player is, it detects everything around it so that it can move around obstacles instead of getting stuck in one place like you've seen a lot of derpy AI do. And I'm talking about a lot of derpy AI. There's you know what games are like. So if we go into here, make this nice and big so can actually see, so I can read it. So, there's the pawn sensing. Oh yeah, I could have just clicked on here, couldn't I? Up a dub a dub. the pawn sensing is just here, as you can see, like I showed you before. Basically, I just tweaked a little bit so that its sight threshold is only 1000, stuff like that. Now there is a hearing threshold, but that's only if you've got sound. You know, if you create like footsteps, you can make the AI go, "Ooh, I can hear the player. I'm gonna go towards him." But there isn't any foot sounds, so there's no really any point editing that. But let's go back into the code. So basically, I have this in range. So if the player, if it can see it, if it's in range, then cast to third person and then move towards the player, basically. So the target actor is the third person character. He goes, okay, I see the third person character, I'm going to start moving towards him. That's, it's pawn is itself, so it moves itself, it doesn't move something else. You delay that by a couple of seconds, then you end the in range. So on success or on fail, it understands. And then that goes to HP. So as you knew, there was a custom event called check HP, which I'll get around to in a minute. So this is the HP thing. This is basically the range of how far it's basically how far what's it called? How far he's going to hit you from. So he's going to hit you when he's less than or equal to 150. So you know how if I increase that number, then basically they'd be able to hit you across the world. This is what this bit's for. And obviously the damage is being cast to the third person character. And then obviously set the HP, set the player HP to whatever happens. If he is 150 away, then target the player's HP and then minus 0.1. So basically, in all reality, that's basically 10 hit. Now, this code down here would be random movement code, but get random point doesn't exist in this version of Unreal, so that code doesn't work at the moment. So yeah, so hopefully I've explained this right, because things are spinning around in this head, all dilly-dally. You think you've talked about it, but in all reality you think you've talked about it and you haven't. So this is damaging the player when he's within 150 units, I suppose you could call it. This is so that he moves towards the AI when he moves towards the player when he sees it. So that's all the AI code. Let's go into, I showed you the pause menu, so I suppose it's only good that I show you the code for that too. So as you can see, I have this at the moment. So as you can see, it's just text boxes inside of. So what you needed to do is, I've created a vertical box called I should really call it pause box, but whatever. Then I've got an options box too, and the options box is currently set to hidden, so that basically when the pause menu appears, you don't have the options menu in the background. That's basically what it's all about. So you don't see it when it comes up. So if I go into the graph now, I'll show you some of the code. Yes, I will. So basically, when they click the the resume button, they go nick. They've pressed it. I've called it start game button when I should have really called it resume button. Hey-o. So basically what it does is that once you've clicked the start game, it's gonna unshow the mouse cursor, because you wouldn't want your mouse cursor in. It's gonna set the input mode to game only, which basically means that it's gonna work. It then removes it from the parent, which basically means that it's detached from the game engine. It isn't going to do it. And then obviously you set the game paused as false, which is basically what this tick is. If it was true, then once you clicked on start game, the game wouldn't move because you'd be paused. So now let's go into the show options menu. So when you click the options button, it's gonna set the visibility of the main menu box, which, as you remember, is the resume button, the options button, and the exit button. That's going to set it to hidden. Then it's going to bring up the options box as visible. So it basically hides the main menu box and reveals that. So when you click on 640 by 480, it's then going to set the resolution to that. That's basically the command for it, and then you do the same for the other two. So when you click those buttons, it's going to set the resolution to that. The next one is on-clicked return to main menu. So once you click that, it's going to set the options box to hidden again, and it's going to reveal the main menu box as visible. And then obviously the exit game button is just going to quit. I love the command for that. It's just quit. If you like, this is r.set capital R. It has to be capital R. No. You see, that's rather complicated, and that's just quit. It's like, why can't you just allow me to type in res 920 by 1080? Make things simple instead of all programmers love to make things more complicated than they should be. So that's basically the pause menu. I'm 100% sure I haven't talked about this, but you never know. So the last thing I need to talk about is probably the water. And then I'm going to show I've already showed the pause menu working, but I best show the damage working. Even though they can't move, the zombies can still damage you, so I can prove that it works at the minute. I could add in the nav box, but whatever. But let's talk about the water. So basically, what you do is you get yourself a basic box, you convert it into a static mesh, and then you change I believe it's the brush options. Yeah, just here. So you set it to no collision. So basically that they can go through it. Because obviously your legs are going to go through it. So let's prove a point. So as you can see, this is just a basic box. The rocks are kind of hiding it to make it look less than a box. But as you can see, because there's no collision on it, I can walk through it. There's basically a little floor below that, so that the player doesn't fall through. But yeah, obviously there's some lights in here. The lighting hasn't been rendered out yet, so you can't see that. But I'll get to that. As you've seen before, the door opens. But you haven't seen the lift go, so there you go. This is basically over a 20-second. It's 20 seconds of pure fun as you go down a lift made out of gold. Gold. So whilst these 20 seconds are going on, I'll sit here silently, whistling a little tune to myself. There we go. So to prove to you that I'm not going mad, that the game does work, just because the zombies don't move, they will still deal damage to me. So as you can see, this one on the side, on the left hand side, will change once I go to him. Look, there you go, he's dealing damage to me. And basically what the delay does is so that they don't continuously hit you over so basically you don't go from 1 to 0 in thing. So if I kill myself, the game should restart. Just to prove a point. Yep, there you go. Oh, aren't I just a genius? The lighting in this room is basically just point lights. Some of them have a little red cross through. They work. I don't know why they have the red cross in, but they do work. I may change the colour of them, but basically for the lighting, the only thing I've really changed is the intensity and how far it goes. So I don't know if you can see the blue box, but it's somewhere. There should be a little blue block somewhere, but maybe it doesn't show up on that one. Maybe it's going to allow me to click this. I don't know how big the oh, there you go, now you can see it. The tension box is a little big, so that's basically saying how far the light can go. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess for some of the things that you can't see. So I think that's pretty much everything. There's still a couple of things I need to add in, like a hood so that you can see your health, maybe some steps here. I've added in some trees, some stumps here. Need to delete some of the stuff that's still in here from, when I first loaded in the third person thing. But I think that's everything. I shall just show you the lift. There's the lift. See, exactly the same code. It's just on a different manatee. just to prove a point. Yeah. So, oh. I'll just go into here. As you can see, look, it's more than 20 seconds. I believe it's about 25 seconds. So basically there's just 2 keyframes. So if I minimize this, you can see that, look, there's the line, that's the animation where it goes down. So I think that's everything. I'm going to stop the recording here. I'll finish off the hood, add in a gun, you know, so that you can actually kill the zombies, add in their health, and everything will be yay! So this is basically part 2, with nearly everything finished, just bits and pieces to muddle up, and then I'll do the final part once I've finished everything off. Hopefully I've talked about everything. I think I've got everything covered. Oh, no, wait, there's one more thing. Haha! So basically for these weren't set up properly, and I believe in the last one I talked about adding animations to stuff, but I didn't cover something. So if I right click, no, I don't want the blueprint. Ah yes, that's what I need. I need to find. So if I go to SK Gruntling, if I can spell, I believe it's a guardian. So let's just find his skeleton. There we go. If I go into edit, and when you go into the retarget thing, basically none of these were here. So basically what this is that you're adding in the bones so that it understands how to use animations, because basically, you know, animations is all about moving bones. So you can put an animation onto something, but you have to set it up as a humanoid rig for human animations to work. You know, if you wanted to create like a rabbit animation, you can't have it on a humanoid rig, and autosave's gonna do whatever it wants to do. So basically, luckily for me, all of these were named pretty good. So you know, obviously the pelvis goes into the pelvis, and you basically just set it up so that all the bones are now set up. I don't know if you can see bones in here. So as you can see, the pelvis is now here. You can see that the bones have been set up. So you can see where all the bones are. You can make it more complicated. You can add in all his finger bones, his toe bones and stuff like that. But because this is basic, because it's a basic animation from the mannequin, which you start off with, there's no point doing anything too complicated. But as you can see, there is already animations in here if I wanted to add them in. So I believe there's like, if you click it, then it should do animation. I say should do. Yeah, look, there you go. See, there's one of his deaths animations. So hopefully once I get round to it, I will add these animations in. But that's about it. So basically, added in his bone so that he could use, so that he, you know, was able to move, because basically he was T-boning for a lot of it. I love T-boning. Makes me feel brilliant. There's a statue, if you care about statue. But that is now everything covered. I don't have anything else to talk about. I'll add in the hood, the gun, and that will basically be game completed. I might add in another room or something like that, but you know, it all depends how much time I've got left. So thank you for watching part 2, and I'll be back as soon as I can with part 3.